Well, this is the Dayan Gem 7, and a couple of things I want to make clear at the start. First of all, this won't be a jumbling tutorial. I am planning on doing a jumbling tutorial at some stage, but this puzzle it's decent enough without jumbling to warrant a tutorial of its own. The second thing is I want to talk about these square faces. You remember these square faces are the ones which turned on the picture and they didn't turn in the unboxing video, and they do sort of turn. And I've extensively lubed and tried to tension these square faces, and you can see that some of them now that's acceptable turning, but some of the others, well, it sort of turns, and these ones are actually pretty good compared to what they were. So if you can see that one's just not quite as good. There's been quite a bit of lube applied to this. If you've got problems turning your square faces, persevere with it, because it is definitely worth getting all the parts of the puzzle turning. It's a good puzzle. I just think it probably needed a tad more work in the design stage to get the square faces right. These faces turn just wonderfully, all of them, all the time. So with that out of the way, let's get into the solve. The first thing that I'm going to do is look for the edges. And actually, third thing, let me just point out that there are two different types of corners here. This type of corner is where all stickers are the same size, and there are only 8 of these on the whole puzzle. So that one, and those two, there's 4 of them, and if we turn over we'll see the other 4. All the rest of the corners, you'll notice, have this kind of sticker, and then they have these sticker on the others, and there's many more of them. So we're going to solve those corners slightly differently. We're actually going to use the exact same sequence, we're just going to do it differently, as we'll see later on. So now let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to do is place some edges, and by edges I don't mean these single triangles, I mean things like that, where they have 2 colours. You can place the edges in any order you like. I prefer to start with a white face, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to note, first of all, this white red, without jumbling, I don't know if it'll be different with jumbling, but I suspect it will. These edges are in their own orbit. We can't have that white red edge get to there, because if it was there, there's no way that we could place it there without some kind of weird jumbling type of thing going on. So you can be sure without jumbling that these pieces will just place nicely. So this white green piece here, you can see that if I turn its position around to there, turn it up, put it on, no problem. Then what have we got? A white pink and a white blue to find. There's the white pink. So I might turn its position around to here, move the white pink piece up onto its position, and then turn that white face back. And the final white edge, here it is, so we'll do the same sort of thing. Turn that position around, put it on, put it in. Just simple turns, nothing more than that. And you can see now that when you've done the edges of a face, those 4 will match up. As I said, you can do the edges in any order, but I like to sort of, I guess, proceed upwards now and treat that as the bottom face. And so the next 2 edges I'm going to do are these edges here. This one's already done, the pink blue. On the other side of the puzzle there'll be another one, and that's the green red. So I'm going to find where that is. It'll be somewhere on its line, and there it is there. And you can see that it was actually one over and I went the wrong way. There we go. Now I can't just turn that around because it will displace that white red edge. So instead of that, all I'm going to do is turn the green red off, and then turn its position around, put the green red on, and turn its position back. And you'll see, because I can only do 180-degree turns, that it doesn't matter which direction I'm turning because it's the same. So that's completed those 2. The next edges I'm going to do are these, remembering that this is the bottom face. I'm going to do these edges here. There will be, I think, 4 of these, 2 here, and then if we turn around to the other side there'll be 2 there. And you can see that the yellow purple, that belongs there. This one needs to be a yellow blue, and this one needs to be yellow green. So we'll go ahead and find them. There's the yellow blue. So in terms of that yellow blue, what I can do is turn that around to its position so that it can go over there. Now, I don't want to again disrupt this piece, and so I'm going to use an edge piece series just to place it on there, then take it off, and then undo those moves. And we'll come back here and just replace that other white pink. And what that's ensured is that the piece here has stayed there. It's placed that one. It's actually placed this yellow purple. So I'll keep that if I can, but I'm not overly concerned because I want to do the yellow green, which happens to be here. So again, I can't just turn it around, so I'm going to turn it off, move its position, turn it on, put it back. And again, noting that the white face is on bottom, that edge and that edge are now done. And if we turn around, we'll see this lower one is still done, this lower one is still done, and we've just got these two, one of which is already done. So the yellow-red, where's that hiding? Here it is over here. So basically what I'll do is turn that position, which is the yellow-red position, around, and then move it to there, turn the yellow-red on, undo that, and I'm going to undo all moves now because things like that will get disrupted otherwise. So when I turn that back, you can see that those two pieces have now been placed. Now from here, I am more inclined just to start placing whatever I can place. So that blue yellow and the blue purple is already done. You can see moving around here, that sort of line of edges is done. So let's go and have a look here. We've got the green yellow, the orange yellow, pale yellow. So I'm actually going to go and place that orange pale yellow here next to one that's already done. And so because of other edges that I've done, I'm going to always be using full 4 moves of the edge piece series. Like so. That'll place that there. It also places that one. Let's have a look what else. Things on the rest of that line look pretty good. So that's done. Now we'll have a look at what is left. There won't be that much left, but there will probably be some. And there's one that's not quite done. There's another, and there's another. And it looks to me as though they are the only 3. So I'm going to place those last 3 first of all. So the grey-green and the grey-purple need to swap. And then we have, in fact, so there must be another one. We've got the purple-green, which needs to go, I would say, over here. So this means that we've got 2 swaps. So what we want to do is place one of them, doesn't matter which one. So I'll place this purple-green by firstly turning it into that position and then doing an edge piece series to put it there. So moving its position around, putting it on, and always doing the full set of moves. That places that, and what that'll leave is 1, 2, 3 remaining. Now, let's have a look at what they are. In fact, the grey-green is in position, and the pink-green needs to swap with that one. And you'll notice that's because I haven't turned this back, because I turned this to set up the moves. So now that I do that, those edges are back where they should be, and I now do have a true 1, 2, 3 edge cycle. So always carrying out the full moves, and we can look now and see that all of those edges are placed. Just having a quick look around, making sure that all the edges are in position. They certainly are. Now the next thing I'm going to do is solve those 8 corners. So these ones here that all have the same sticker shape on them. And I'm going to use a series which is just the corner piece series, and let's have a look at that now in a solved puzzle. Alright, well let's carry this out and have a look what happens. What we're going to do is the corner piece series, and we're going to turn this face as our upper face, this is left and this is right. So all hexagonal faces during the move. Of course, because the hexagonal faces only go 180, I don't need to turn it clockwise. If I'm doing a clockwise upper, I can turn it either direction. So I'm going to show you first up and then right 2, which would be normally what we do on a corner piece series for cuboids, and then up and then left 2, and then we just repeat that. Last one there. Let's stop there and notice that nothing here has been touched. In fact, the only thing that's been touched are these three corners. And if we think about that being the up face and that being the down face, that's what would have happened on something like a 3x3x2. The piece from here rolls down into that position, and you can see from the colouring that that piece has simply rolled from there down into that position. Now the thing that's slightly different is the piece that was here normally would roll across to there, but quite clearly this hasn't rolled. It's done a bit of turning as well. But in any event, it does go from here to here, and then this piece goes across the diagonal to here. And the thing that I want to note is that that blue colour has landed on the top, and it's the colour in the lower part of the face that goes to the top. Now just to have a look at this and see, well, what's going to happen with the mirror of that, that would mean if we were going to do the mirror, we'd want the piece movement to go like this. So the red would come here. Now this is our third piece. So if we put it down in that position, at the moment we can see that that red would go to there, which we don't want. So we want to turn the piece anti-clockwise before we start. So this is not part of the corner piece series, this is just how we would set up to make that third piece go over to there. So I'm going to move the corner around the cube in an anti-clockwise direction. I'm not turning the faces anti-clockwise necessarily, I'm turning the corner around the cube in that direction to turn the corner itself anti-clockwise. And you can see now that the white is on the lower part, so when we go and do it, it'll correctly place there. So let's carry this one out. This is the mirror, so we turn the upper face, so this time we turn the left first. There we go, that's done, and you can see that the pieces over here are done. We just need to undo these setups and we'll turn that corner back around the puzzle, and when we've done that, we'll see that there indeed that third corner is placed. So that is the corner piece series we'll be using to deal with these corners. Okay, now what that means is that what I'm looking for is to find a piece like this that is in a position where it can roll down into its correct position. So you'll see that the colour on that face matches where it should be. So any piece like that will do, whether it's on the right hand side here or the left hand side, doesn't matter. So I'm going to start with this piece here, and I note that my piece movement is the same as for a cuboid, so it goes from the top down to the bottom, across the bottom and up there. So that means at this stage I could start thinking about what piece goes here. If it's there and available, I'll have a look at it, and it is in the region, so I'm going to just turn, noting that this is a green, pink, yellow corner. I see that that's down here, so I'm going to turn that up into that position, and this will demonstrate one thing that I did want to show, which was that the colour on the sort of the down left front corner there, which is the green, that's the colour that will land on the top here. And so this is correctly oriented, so we're going to place two. Here we go, it's going this direction, so we want to turn the up face and then the left face first. Then the right. I'm just repeating this now because this is just the corner piece series for cuboids. So now what you'll see is that that piece is correctly placed and the piece we wanted to place is correctly placed. So those two are in. Just need to remember to return these for the setup. And the next thing I'll do is look for another corner which might roll into its position. So I'm again looking for corners such as this, these two, they're placed. Those two, neither of them want to roll into their position. That one's placed, that's in position but flipped or oriented wrongly, and so none of these look like they want to go into position. So what I'm going to do is choose a corner such as this one and find where that needs to go and make it move across the diagonal. So what I see is that that's the position that it belongs. So in other words, I'd like to, since the piece movement is going to go like this, I'd like to place that corner up there to start with, because I know the corner there will go across to there. I also know that the colour on the top, this pink, is the colour here on the lower left. So that's correctly oriented to go across to there. So now that I've done that, I can carry out my corner piece series, turning the left face before the right face. And you can see as I do that, it orients itself really nicely in there. And that's completed the sequence. You can see that's placed, and all I need to do is turn back these edges as the setup. So let's take stock, and you can see the framework is starting to build here. So we've got these two, we've got that one, that's 3, 4, so we've got 4 to go. So let's just look for one that's going to work now. That's in position but misoriented. That one needs to go there, that one needs to go. It doesn't need to go, in fact, to that there. So we've got these two needing to swap, so we'll have a look at the other two. Those two needing to swap, that one in position, and the fourth one in position also. So what we can do here is basically use these two, get them out of their position. So in fact, there's probably an easier way. Let's do this. We know that this one has to come down here, and we know we want the grey face into that position in order to place. So let's put the grey sticker there first. So I'm going to need to move that grey sticker colour clockwise, and so I want to move the piece in a clockwise direction around the cube. So what I'm going to do is turn it around the back here so it doesn't disturb these pieces. So we'll turn it around to there first, then to there, and keeping track of this piece, then to here, and finally over to its position. And you'll see now that the grey piece is on that correct face, and it hasn't disturbed these two, which I want. So all I need to do is remember to put that back when I'm done. So because the piece movement is like this, this is the piece on its own, so it tells me that it's the right face that I turn first. That's done. You can see that that's placed it there. What I need to do now is move that piece back around so that I'll replace my edges and keep everything as it was. And when I've done that, what you'll see is that the corners that I've done are still in position, and all the edges are back to where they should be. So what that should leave now is 3 corners left to do. In fact, we've got those 3 plus this one is in its position. So we do have a 3 cycle, but we've still got 4 corners left. Okay, so as we look around, we'll see that we've got this corner and this corner that need to swap. So the blue, grey, purple needs to go here, the yellow, blue, orange needs to go here. So those two need to swap. Now if we go, these other two are done. So if we go and have a look on the other side, we'll see that this corner is in position but is misoriented, and the other 3 are done. So we've actually got a 2-corner swap that we need to deal with. How do we do that? Pretty easily actually. What we do is simply turn any face on this puzzle, any of the hexagonal faces, around. Now that's fixed that corner problem. Obviously it's disrupted edges, so we now want to go ahead and fix the edges. Let's have a look at how we can do that. These two are swapped and these two are swapped. Now we're going to ignore one set of them and go about fixing the other set, and you'll see how it'll all come out in the end. So how do I fix this swap? Well, I turn an adjacent face like that so that I create a 3 cycle. Now that I've got that 3 cycle, I can go ahead and carry out my edge piece series like so. And that of course fixes those ones. It also of course disrupts these ones. So what do I do next? Well, I turn an adjacent face to create a 3 cycle, go ahead and fix those ones. Which of course does fix them, but then it creates this swap. But the nice thing about that is that this swap, these are the 2 pieces that were originally swapped, and now I've got a 3 cycle instead of a swap. So I can go ahead and fix those. And if we look at things now, we'll see that all edges are back into their position. So it was simply a matter of turning one of the faces one turn and then going around and fixing the other edges. That having been done, let's now take stock of our corners. That one's still in position. These 3 need dealing with. That's in position, that's in position. So we've got a few corners that have been disrupted, which we now need to fix up. So let's go and find one that we can move, and there it is, the green, grey, orange. So we bring it down like this. Let's go. extremely simple sequence, very versatile. That's placed that one there. Let's have a look what's left. That one and that one. And on the other side, those two. That one there is in position. So this, we'll check now that we do have a 3 cycle. We've got the purple, grey, blue, which needs to go to there. The orange, blue, yellow needs to go there. And the yellow, pink, green needs to come down to here. So we have created that 3 cycle, and you remember that was the problem. Now I've got these 3 colours here that need to cycle, these 3 corners. No matter which way I turn this corner, none of them are going to go into the correct position. So the easiest thing for me at this stage is just to basically say, let's do a corner piece series to get them out of their positions. I don't want to go and try and place them now, I just want to move them out of their positions. So I'm going to turn this way, just to move them out. So the first thing is I'll just carry that corner piece series out. Like so. And having done that, I'm going to put back the corner so that the edges are back. And now we're going to have a look at what we've got. When I turn this up again, I'll go, alright, that pink piece, where's that got to come to? The pink is now on this face, and it's going to come down to here next to that pink edge. And you can see that when I turn that back to its correct position, it'll be correctly placed. So that's good. That now means I can carry out this corner piece series like so, and that'll place this piece into here. Alright, having done that, I'd had the setup move, so I'll turn that back, and it has indeed placed that piece. So as we look around now, what do we got? This one's done, this one's done, this one's done, and this one's done, which will leave that one in position, that one in position, that one in position, but twisted, and this one in the center here is done. So when I've got 3 corners in their positions but twisted, the easiest way to deal with that is to do what I just did and move them out of their positions and then start again. So this time what will I do? I'll have the piece movement going like that. So let's carry that out. Like so. Let's go and put that corner back now and have a look what's going on. And if I forget what my setup moves were, I just need to look at the edges, and that green white needs to be put back. So where are my corners? I've got the yellow, yes, the yellow, orange, blue. I've got the blue, grey, purple, and the white, red, green. So the first thing I'll try and do is turn this up and see, yep, that's beautiful. You can see that the green there has gone to that position. So I'm going to now turn the puzzle around so that my green can come down to here. Now, that being the case, I then want to have a look at my third piece. I'm going to place it in its position and have a look at which colour is on the front face. And in this case, this blue, purple, grey piece, the grey is on the front. Now you might think, hang on, there's no grey up here. But remember, the grey is here because we've had to move that piece around. So in fact, the colour that I'm looking for to be on the front down here is a blue to match with that blue edge. So I've got this piece ready to go, that piece ready to go. How do I get the blue around to here? I turn the piece around the puzzle anti-clockwise. So I'm going to go around this way. Remember, not the faces, just the piece movement, and that blue piece is now correctly positioned. So I've now got my 3 pieces, which I can carry out my final corner piece series. That's all done. You can see that one's placed, that one's placed. This one will be placed when we take the piece back around and replace all our edges. You can see as we do it, the edges start getting replaced. And is that the last one, or is there another turn? Just checking all the edges here, that looks good. And so all the edges look to be back, and so what we should find now is that all our corners are back, and they are, except we had one little setup up here. So now that we look at that, we can see those 4 corners are done. We'll turn the puzzle over, and those four corners are done as well. And remember, included in this was how to deal with a two-corner swap. So we now look at the framework, and we've got a nice lovely little movement around there. You can clearly see what's going on, and what that means is it just leaves us with the square faces to go. Alright, with the square faces to go now, it means that we don't need to touch any of these pieces. We're going to be turning these faces, obviously, but it's not going to disturb anything we've already done. And so the first thing I'm going to do is start placing the triangles on these square faces. I'm going to do that using, initially, I can just turn like that because that will place that and it doesn't disturb anything else. But normally I'll be using edge piece series. So let's have a look. I could turn this little pale yellow piece there onto its position, and I might then think, alright, how can I get this blue over to there? I know that there are two purple colours on each face that belong to square faces, so I could remove that green to there, the purple to there, and the blue to there. And so that's what I'll do. And that is simply, of course, an edge piece series, and I'll just carry that out and expect a little bit of alignment problems there. When I carry out the full edge piece series, I'll always end up putting my edges, the two colour edges, back where they were. You can see that blue's now placed, that purple's placed. So I normally try and do a face at a time. So I might have a look at this purple and see if I can get that done as well. All I've got to do is find it. And it lives there. So think to myself, I've got to get it over to here. How can I do that? Well, the easiest thing that I can see is to turn this hexagonal face, to put that piece there, and then turn the purple piece up to there, so that now I can carry out an edge piece series like this. Now, having done that, I just need to remember to turn back the faces I turned. That one's not a big deal because we haven't done anything on that face yet. Over here, I can easily tell because my edges are out. So I'll just put them back and that's done. You can see now that all the purple edges are done and the purple triangles are done. I'd move on. Let's try the blue. Where's the other blue piece? There it is. So it's already in position to go and place it like that. Very, very simple. Blue face is done. What else? We could either do the grey. I'd like to sort of do some sort of method here. So what the heck, let's do the grey. And looking for a grey piece, there's one there. So what I'm going to do is turn its position around, ready to be involved in a 3 cycle. Here we go. Again, just alignment issues. I must stress, still worth getting the puzzle despite these problems. Now that's done, and I'll just turn, what do we do? No, I need to turn back. In fact, it's not quite done. I hadn't completed that. Now I've completed it, and that grey's in position. Okay, the other grey, where's that? There it is. So I can get that grey piece to there by doing something like this, by turning its position up and now going ahead and carrying out that sequence. Now I've decided to turn that back, but in fact it makes more sense to turn that because it's placed 3 of them. So I'll do that, and then I'll put that grey piece back. Let's take stock. The purple face is done, blue face is done, grey face is done. What should we do next? Doesn't really matter, to be honest. I might do, well, I might finish off the pink face, and what I'll do is place this yellow one here and move the green to there and the pink to there. So we'll do a couple at a time, which is always helpful if you can do that, like so. And that leaves a green here. Let's go and place the green into that position. So we'll finish off the green, the light green face. So that way I can do that green to there, that green to there, and the light green back to here. And you can see all of this is just extremely simple moves. Now that will leave me a dark green piece and that's got to travel over to that side. So, might not be a bad idea to place that dark green into its position. Now what would I like to go here? In fact, let's finish off the yellow face, because I've only got one to go there, so I'll find that piece which is there and just think, how can I get that? What I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn the square face to put the yellow there and then turn the hexagonal face. So they're my setup moves, and I'm now going to push that yellow to there, that yellow to there, and the green back to here. That's completed that. Remember the setup moves that I had to do, so I'll unturn that and I'll unturn that. I think it was 2 turns. What does that leave? Yeah, I haven't touched these faces yet, so the pink, the yellow, the green, the blue, the grey, got an orange. I'll leave that and I'll complete this red face now, I think, because it's only got one to go. That's over there. Okay, so I'll do the same sort of thing, is I'll move the red piece up to that position and then I'm going to push it out. Here we go. And what do we do now? Turn that back and turn that back. Let's have a look. Red face done, pink, yellow, green, blue. There can't be that many to go. Grey's done, purple's done. Okay, the orange is not done, the pale yellow is not done, and by the looks of it, the dark green will be the other one that's not done. Ah, and a white. So, let's finish off, let's find one of them that we can do. Let's get this light blue face done. So that piece is here, so what we can do is move that white around to there, turn the light blue piece on, turn back that and complete that. That'll now leave us the white face, the orange face. So let's go ahead and finish the white face by replacing it with a white piece, which is here. So in that case, I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to use these two, and I'm going to use that one as my third piece. So I'm placing that piece in that position as a setup, and now I'm going to turn the white piece onto that position and then undo my setup by turning this hexagonal face. 2 oranges there, a green there. So we've got a yellow, light yellow face done. We just want to finish that off by placing that yellow piece there. Let's have a look. Again, we can turn its position up to there so that we can put that into the position. There we go. Let's have a look. We'll turn that one back, and that will leave us 2 green pieces on the orange face and 2 orange faces on the pieces on the green face, which means I can now go ahead and just swap them over. So let's have a think how we can do that. Well, I've got the green going to the green, so I'd like an orange piece, if I could, to be somewhere like here. So I'm just going to put one there as a setup, and in fact I'm going to put this one here. So I'll do 2 setup moves. In fact, that's 3, by the way. So that orange piece is now there as a setup. I'm going to go and put it over here. So turning it onto its position, doing the full turns all the time, and undoing the 3 setup moves. I always do that even if I don't have to, just to make sure everything's back into where it should be. Now that has displaced a yellow one, has it? No, it hasn't. It's just I haven't turned this back properly. So let's have a... In fact, what have I done? I think I needed to turn that one more. That's better. That's much better. Okay, so correct setup moves are done. What have we got now? The orange piece and the green. So it's effectively a swap now. So what we're going to do is go orange, green, and put the other orange piece here before I begin. if it's possible. Go the long way. So those two turns were just setups. Okay, now we're ready to go orange to here, green to here, orange to here. There we go. What were my setups? I believe it was that one, and then that one. Okay, now if we look around, we should see all of the edges in position, all of these corners in position, and now all the triangle pieces on each face completed, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we do see. And that leads us to, well, that completes this stage of the solve and leads us to the final stage. Alright, well the final part of this solve involves the corner piece series again. This time we're going to hold the puzzle in a different way from the first time we did it. You remember that when we were placing these corners, we basically wanted them to run in a line like this. So we had the puzzle here, left, right and up. Well, as we go to place these corners, we're going to hold that slightly differently. Let's have a look now on a solved puzzle. Okay, now to move the corners on the square faces around, we're going to do a corner piece series again. This time it's just slightly different faces that are involved. So this time we've got this as our upper face, which is really in the center, and we've got this as our right face and this hexagonal face as our left face. So those three faces there are what we're going to use. Let's carry it out, have a look what happens. So we'll turn our upper face like that, then the right face, which is the square face, normally gets turned away from us, and that's what we're going to do. Turn it away, just one turn though. Then the upper face, and then now the left face. Instead of the square face, this is the hexagonal face. And the upper face, return the right, return that, and return the hexagonal face. Looking around, we can see that only 3 corners have actually been affected. And the piece movement goes this corner here, this square face corner, across to the other square face in that position. The corner that was here goes up there, and it's the one that rolls across, so it's going upwards. And this corner comes down to here. And of course the mirror would just involve the piece that was here going across to there, down to here. So as long as we hold the puzzle like that, we'll be able to place all of our square face corners. Now what I like to do is just to try and do a complete square face at a time and do really 3 square faces. There's 6 in total, so do 3 adjacent, which will then leave all the other pieces on the other 3 faces. So I'm going to just start with 1 square face, and note here that I've got this blue, purple, grey piece. Now where does that belong? That one I can tell is not going to belong in a position like this with the blue and the grey, and I can tell that because if I turn it into that position, it's not correctly oriented. I'm not going to have that trouble with a non-jumbling tutorial. I don't know if I'll have it with a jumbling, but I certainly won't have it with this. And that tells me that the piece actually must go across to a position in another part of the cube. So, because I've got a blue, purple, grey, I think, could it go there? Well, if it's going to go up that line, it's going to be incorrectly oriented. So it can't go to that one, so it must go over to this one. So it's going to be purple, grey, and that is going to be a blue face. So I think to myself, right, well that's the position that I want it to be in. So I'm going to turn that piece around to there, and when I do that, what you'll notice is that the orientation of the piece is correct. So it's another little check. So now I've got this piece going to there. So you remember that the 3 pieces are the one here, going across to there, going across to there. And to accomplish that, we carry out the corner piece series. So, treating that as the upper face, then the square face as the right, and the upper, and then this as the left. And now we just need to turn the square face back and make sure, because we're not doing 180-degree turns with that, that's pretty crucial. As we finish that off, let's have a look at what's happened. That square face corner has correctly placed, and so we know now that's going to be a blue face, and we can now easily determine the next pieces that go here. And we're going to continue this for the whole thing, and I'll do a few more now and then we'll cut to the latter parts of it. So let's at least do a complete face. So we've got I'm looking for a blue, grey, orange, or a blue, purple, yellow, or a blue, yellow, orange. Now here's a blue, yellow, orange here. Now you might say, hang on, that's going across that diagonal and it's not going to be oriented correctly. Well, no, that's because its position is here. And so as soon as I turn the position around, you'll see that that is the orange colour next to that orange edge, and now it is correctly oriented. So this time I'm going to be doing a piece movement across this way. And so what I might try and do is think, is there another piece that could go here at the same time? And that's going to be yellow, blue, something, and I don't even have a yellow, blue, something over here, so no, I can't do that. So let's just place this one. So this is the upper face, do a left turn, the upper face, and then a right turn of the hexagonal face. And remember that this is simply the corner piece series applied to slightly different faces. That's complete. Now when I turn back this, you'll see that that piece has been placed and that piece has also been untouched. So we've now done two of these pieces. Let's look for another one. Blue, purple, yellow, or blue, grey, orange. There's the blue, grey, orange. Okay, where does it need to go? It needs to go to that position. So if we turn that position around to there, we'll see that once again the grey of the corner matches up with the grey of the edge, and that's good to go. So then we'll just check, do I have a green, purple something over on this face? And I don't. I guess if there's something nearby I could try and turn it up, but for now let's just place these pieces. Okay, so again the piece movement is going this direction, so I'm going to be turning the left square face first. Let's place that, and when we turn that square face back, you can see now that three of those pieces have been placed. Let's find the last one. Blue, yellow, purple. There it is. And so we can turn that, we can turn the piece up into its position ready to go across that diagonal and turn its position around to meet it. And this is what's nice about it, is that once you've found the correct piece, you don't need to worry about these pieces being misoriented. They can't be. So we've now got that in position. Let's go and finish it off. Here we go, all done. Let's turn this back, and you can see that we've now got a completed square face. Now all of them are as simple as that. Even if they're not directly on the adjacent face, all we need to do is turn hexagonal faces until we put them on another adjacent face. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and do another two faces surrounding somewhere, and then I'll cut back to the end part of this and we'll see how to finish it off. Now at this stage I've done 1, 2, 3 complete square faces, which leaves 3 on the other side, and I thought I'd come back around now because I've done 2 of these on this square face, and I wanted to make the point that I'm not really going to try and do all 4 of these because it'll only leave me 2 faces to play with. So what I normally try and do is complete 2 squares or 2 corners on each of the square faces first of all. So I've done 2 on this one. What about this one here? I'm just looking for something to go in either that direction or that direction, and as an example, let's have a look. We can see here the blue, purple, white is going to go across to there. So that will be that piece, and we need something in that position which is not already done. So in this case, I'll just turn this around and use that one as a setup, and away I go. The piece movement is going this way, so it's this square face that turns first. And that's done, and you can see that that's placed the piece there. I did of course set up, and so I might as well turn it back just to keep things in order. So it's 2 on that face, 1 on this face. Let's get the, it doesn't matter actually which one, another white piece. So that white, green, red, I can see that's its position. So I'm going to turn the position around to where it needs to be, and then again use this one here as a setup. No, there's nothing to remember for the square faces setups because you just check the colour of the triangles. So We'll go and place that one. And having placed that, we can turn that white, green, red back into its position there, and you can see that one that we'd already done is still there. So that's 2 on that face. Still got 2 on this face. So let's think now if we can get a couple on this face, and what colour is that going to be? It looks like it's going to be it's probably a red on the top there, I would think. So this red, green, yellow goes in that position. So what that means is that I'll turn, this is my front face, I'll turn the piece that I want around to there to place it in that position, and then the piece down here must be not done, which it is, so that's great, ready to go. I'm doing these moves fairly fast because I'm sure you get the idea now. Very simple. Okay, that's completed that. Let's get the square faces back to keep things in order. That was back, so those 2 there, those 2 there, that one there. Let's get another one up on this face. Doesn't really matter which one. The red, now the red, blue, white belongs over here, so what about the, yep, the red, grey, green is sitting there, and that needs to go to that position. So let's turn the position around so it's ready, and that means I'll put a 3rd piece over here, doesn't matter which one, and that's now ready to move the pieces like that. Of course, my hexagonal faces, it doesn't matter which direction I turn them, but the square faces it certainly does, and I've got to keep that in mind when I'm doing this sequence. That's placed that one. Let's get all the square faces back to where they should be and take stock. So on this face we've only got 1 left to do, so that's also placed another one there. 2 left here and 2 left here. So let's go and try and place one on either of these faces. So this green, yellow, red is going to go to that position, excuse me. So let's go ahead and firstly see if we can put that into its correct position. So that needs to go there to start with, and it's going to go across to there, so its position, which is that, needs to be turned there, and then that position there needs to have an undone piece. So away we go. Now, because I had 5 left, I think I had 5 left, if I could place this one at the same time, maybe I'd try and do it, although it would leave me with that face completely done. So in fact it's probably good that I don't do that. In any event, piece movement this way, so it's that face and then the left face. Now we've got to turn the left face back and complete. The only thing that I need to do is return square faces, and the last one there, let's have a look. 2 pieces here, 1 here, 1 here. Good, so ideally what we'd like now is to do one of these, and so which one goes there? Looks like the red, blue, yellow belongs in that position, so what we're going to do is turn the position around, turn the piece around I should say, turn the position to match, and then use this piece as the 3rd piece. We're on the home stretch now, but of course there will be a surprise. That's completed that, so let's put the faces back and see what we've got. Beautiful. Everything done except for 2 pieces. Now, I'm glad this happened. I would have created it if it hadn't, but you're going to run into 2 cases. One case is you're going to have a 3 cycle to finish off the puzzle in exactly the same way that we've been doing. The second case, and if that happens, just do the 3 cycle and you're done. The second case is this, where we've got a swap of these 2 corners. And the corners could be anywhere, of course. They could be on the same square face. It doesn't matter. All we know is the blue, grey, red has got to go there. The purple, white, green has got to go there. How do we deal with this? Very simply, in fact, we just turn one of the square faces one turn. Well, this is certainly how I deal with this. Turn one of those square faces one turn and go ahead and replace the triangles. So the first triangle that I'd like to replace, I think, will be, it doesn't really matter, but I like to get these ones done. So I'm going to replace the green. So I'm going to push the green across to there. And to do that, I'm just going to do one little setup move and put it there. So here we go. This is just like placing those triangles from before. Very, very simple. And now I'll undo that setup move so that I ensure that I still turned the face one turn. What's next? I might go and place the purple over to there. That's done. Now what have I got? Those three are still done. In fact, the blue's still done, and you can see now it's blue going to red going to purple. So that's my last 3 cycle of edges, and that's why this is such an easy fix, because we have 2 identical colours that we can use when we run into this problem. So having done that, we'll now see that we've got some corners that have been pushed out. So in this case, we could involve a third face and break one of the corners on the third face, but I'm going to show you how to do it without doing that. So the first thing is that I want to try and find a piece that'll go, and so what's a good example here? Not the white, purple, blue, because that's on that face. What about the white, green, red? Yeah, that'll go. Now we can see that the white, green, red is here. I'm going to move that to here and then turn its position over to here. So let's firstly do that. Okay, now that's ready to go there. You'll also notice that I need a third piece on that face, and that third piece needs to be in that position. Well, I'm going to get it from here, and I'm going to turn the hexagonal face. But I need to just remember which piece was done, which wasn't. So the white, green, purple was done, so I don't want to involve that. But this red, blue, grey, that wasn't done, and so that's the one that I then want to turn down and use in the correct position. Okay, so I'll turn that around there for a setup. It's not going to touch this one, and we'll undo the setups at the end. So piece movement going in this direction. Let's go. And that's done, and all we need to do now is undo our setups. And the first setup was to turn this back. You can clearly see where the square faces need to go. Then we turned the hexagonal face, and then we turned that square face, and we also turned this square face. Let's see where that leaves us. That leaves us with exactly 3 pieces to go. You remember we started this with a swap, and of course now we've created ourselves the 3 cycle. Now what we've got is this blue, yellow, red that needs to go there. This is the third piece, and so the only complication is we've got to get this third piece over to that face, into that position. So we've just got a couple of setups to do. So what I'm going to do is turn that piece, the white, purple, blue, around. So right 2, then hexagonal, left 2, and finally right 2, to put that piece back where it needs to go. So right 2, hexagonal, left 2, right 2. That's my setups, that's what I've got to remember. Now I can carry out the final corner piece series. Okay, that's done. Now, what were my setups? Right 2, hexagonal, left 2, right 2. So I've got to undo them. So right 2, then it was left 2, then it was hexagonal, and finally right 2. When we do that, we can look around and see that all those corners are done. We've fixed the problem of the swapped corners, and we have in fact solved the Dayan Gem 7.